Welcome to this Marvelicious Toys one-shot. They're not just toys, they're Marvelicious.
But these are our first real look at the plasticless packaging that has been all the discussion in the groups I'm in on Facebook. Man, is it polarizing.
Yeah. Personally, I don't know what to think. I mean, there's quite a few figures that I do buy multiples of. If it's a really cool figure and I really want to keep one in a package, I will. But, I mean, now I don't know that there's too much reason to do that. You know, if you can't see it, then just take it out and save the box if you want to.
It is going to change things. I did see some when I went to Walmart and Target this week on the Thor toy run as well as on just a regular Target run. They have those little, the 5-inch figures.
Mm-hmm.
Arnie, the ones that you like that have is it 5 POA? Yeah, they're like an odd scale.
Yeah, the kid ones, but they're kind of fun.
Those are now in cardboard boxes with art on it. The art's kind of blah. I don't remember if those had good art at the time, but it's kind of blah. The cardboard didn't look super sturdy. So if anybody's going to be collecting these mint, I have reservations on if they're going to stay mint long, because it just felt like that flimsy cardboard, not like a good heavy cardboard,
But of course, you can't judge what they're doing with the kids line to see if that's what they'll do with the Legends. But I'm guessing the cardboard is going to stay the same rigidity as what we have, which is medium, moderate.
Yeah, and it's really going to come down to the inner packaging, because what's being done away with is not only the plastic, window, but also the inner trays, which is, unique to each figure. They have to vacuum form that shape for the figure and the accessories and the heads and the Build-A-Figure piece and all that. Each one of those is unique, and that's going away, and it's all going to be cardboard now. I don't know if you've ever bought one of Hasbro's Fortnite figures, but I think that's kind of a hint of to where we're heading as far as how we expect figures to show up now, which is still about the same thickness of cardboard for the outer packaging, but like doubled up and folded, like lighter weight corrugated for holding the figure. And a lot of times they're wrapped in like a tissue paper too. So
all I can say is this better do really well for the environment, because what I've read, it seems like a little bit of virtue signaling that is not going to really do much beyond make Hasbro look like a green company.
Yeah, to me, it feels like over course correction. Like, I understand, like, even if you want to be cynical about it and say, like, hey, they're just trying to save a buck, and if that makes them look like the good guys for becoming environmentally conscious or whatever, I think there's a middle ground. They have all these other toys that they sell that 100% of them that are sold are opened and the packaging is thrown away. Start cutting there. But like to jump right in feet first to go right after collectibles and say, nope, no more plastic for collectibles either. It's like, I feel like we're cutting off our feet before we get running,
And lately, statements have been said during quarterly reports and things that let me know Hasbro knows that a significant portion of its base is adult collectors. There was a period in the aughts where it felt like, yeah, there's some of those grown people who buy toys, but we make them for the kids. And then there was we're going to make a few concessions for those freaky adults, like the toy features will be accessories instead of letting them fire bolts from their face, but we're still making them for the kids. But in the latest quarterly statement, the CEO said that they were having growth in an adult collector market. So they know who they're going for. And yeah, it seems like too broad a swath. And I'm prognosticating that this can only hurt sales, because if you're a mint on card collector, you're now a box collector. And I just remember the first time I talked to Steve Sansweet, biggest Star Wars collector ever if you don't know him on the Marvel side, Guinness World Record holder for the largest Star Wars collection. And I asked him, I'm like, do you collect mint in box or do you open it? And he's like, if I don't open it, how do I know what's in the box? How do I know that I don't just have a box full of rocks? I have to open it. I like to look at the product, not look at the packaging. Well, with a window, you had the best of both worlds. Now, you have a box.
Yeah, and it's been brought up elsewhere, but it's something that's going to have to be addressed. I mean, once this rolls out, it's going to be a compounding issue. I mean, we see figure swaps now that as a collector you look at it and it's right there in front of you, which are egregious. Imagine with no way of looking in the box now, how many figures you're going to get home and be like, oh, wow, this is a My Little Pony or something, it's like...
But how many do you buy in stores now? I mean, I'm almost exclusively an online order guy because I want them. And that's the way I know I'm going to get them. Yeah,
I mean, me too, increasingly. But, I still do the store runs. And, if I find a figure at the store before my pre-order comes in, I'll oftentimes buy it there. But now I'm going to have to think twice. It's like, I know I have this figure coming directly from a reputable source. Or do I take the chance of paying $25 and not getting the right thing when I get home?
I've been buying Legends. I can't decide if I'm a minton box collector, but in the case that I am, I've decided to have them at the ready in case I decide, I am minton box, so good. I didn't open that set. So I suppose I'm a minton box collector in denial about it, but...
You absolutely are a minton box collector. I don't understand where the doubt is in this whatsoever.
But I'm not going to be for these boxes. I mean, I can probably take the figure out of this box and then scotch tape this box back up and then be like, see, it's still minton box. How would anybody know?
Mm-hmm.
No. Wait a second. So you're going to keep the empty boxes not collapsed?
I'm saying I could, and it would be the exact same as if I kept it minton box. It's Schrodinger's action figure.
It's true, but on these regular waves, I feel like if given a choice, I would say, okay, fine. I'll be fine with it. I don't like it. I don't love it, but I'll be fine on regular waves going without the plastic if that's what we need to do. But this is going to affect the other cool stuff that we've been buying specifically for packaging. The retro carded figures with bubbles, both in 6-inch and 3 3/4 inch. The reason I'm buying those 3-inch 5 POA figures is not because I love the 5 POA figures. It's because I love the way they look on a cool card. And if that's going to be affected, what are we doing?
Yeah, that line's dead to me, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I love the figures loose, but I mostly love that art from John Tyler Christopher on those cards with the colorful figure right there. And if you try to tell me that having cardboard picture of the figure is the same thing, no, it isn't.
Nope. I mean, at that point, it might as well just be a picture of the figure on the card without the figure, and just give me that. I'll hang that on my wall. Matter of fact, I'll download it and print it out myself.
You've just given me the idea for San Diego Comic-Con Marvelicious Toys badges to hand out. But the other thing I'm going to go here. I haven't heard anybody else say this. Justin, you're a graphic designer, so I will defer to you, but I'll say I don't like these boxes. I don't like the way the figure looks on the front with the art in the background that's kind of, what do you call that? Not pointillism, but the dot printing process.
Yeah, just kind of giving it a comic booky pop feel.
And the figure posed that way, it feels like something I'd see at Five Below.
Yeah. No, it feels like the back of the box artwork. It does not feel like the showcase of the product you're buying, you know? For years, Star Wars comics have been doing these variant covers where it's a Star Wars vintage action figure with a, rendering of a figure sitting in that bubble.
Don't be mistaken. I own hundreds of those for Marvel, too. John Tyler Christopher went on both sides. He started with Secret Wars, and that's how he got me.
Yeah, I was going to say, I remember, I think I have a Deadpool one of those somewhere, too. So it's like, yeah, they've been doing it across the board. And that's what I was kind of envisioning when we heard about this. And I don't know if that would be less of a visual shock to us, because that's what we're used to seeing. They could have made it look like the figure sitting through a window instead of giving us this ad. This looks like I'd be flipping through Toy Fair, and this is the whole ad, is the front of this box.
Yeah, I agree. And maybe it's the online picture. Maybe when I see it, it'll be better. Maybe that figure is spot UV that really helps it pop off of a matte background or something.
Let me ask you guys a question then. How could they do it to make it plastic free and not destroy the collectability of something?
It's a question without an answer. And I guess what we're saying here is I'm not poo-pooing or ripping on anybody who had to make these decisions from the design team on up. I mean, this is an impossible task that they've been handed. And, I think it's one of these things that it's not going to come home to bear what mistakes they've made at the higher up levels until they start to see some of these sales drop off and be like, was it worth it? Did we really save anything other than a couple sheets of plastic?
Not a tree. You're certainly killing some trees.
Right?
But are the trees a renewable resource that doesn't have a big carbon footprint? That's what you're looking at. And that's the difference with going plastic free and keeping the cardboard is all about the renewable resource and the carbon footprint. Sorry.
You know what? I've done a lot of reading on this, and I'm not an expert. I've read as much as I can read about paper versus plastic. What's better? God knows, if you give me a paper straw, you're gonna make me... Don't give me a paper straw. You wouldn't like me if you give me a paper straw. And I feel sort of the same way about paper packaging here. But it's nothing against the design team, and I do feel this packaging will evolve. This is their first time having to do it. I like what they did with Modoc. I feel like Modoc was the first foray into the plasticless packaging because you couldn't see the figure inside. He was all disassembled anyway. And there, you got the big Modoc head that was the figure, but with all the cool lighting and things, but the focus was the figure. And here, I'm looking at Amazing Fantasy Spider-Man, and it's like the focus is muddy because I'm looking at a giant blue art Spider-Man more than I'm looking at the figure of Spider-Man.
Yeah. Like I said, it's an impossible task because would I rather have a fully closed box with some questionable art on the front or an open box where the figure is accessible to anybody and everybody who wants to touch it and possibly pop heads off? I mean, we saw over this last year all these LeBron James heads being stolen at stores for whatever reason. I can't imagine open box figures being a good idea, so...
Thank you for listening to this episode of Marvelicious Toys. Marvelicious Toys is a Venganza Media production, copyright 2022. All rights reserved.